Right, this is a Sunday review for NASDAQ for the upcoming week, November 6th, 2022. And just a quick look at the economic calendar. It's not on here, but there's elections in the US on Tuesday, which should cause for a lot of volatility. Monday should be the calm before the storm. Wednesday, some crude oil. And Thursday, I think another big day with CPI should cause a lot of volatility. So just keeping an eye out for really Tuesday and Thursday, and might be a little bit more cautious. And quick glance at the monthly chart. We are making consecutive lower lows on the monthly. We've yet to do so to begin November, but we are trading below the open of October. So I might just put that on there for now. Previous monthly open. And moving down to the weekly, the bulls tried to save the week last week, but we ended up closing below week before's low. Yeah, I mean it's not looking too bullish. We took out this high here into this gap, and I believe that's at around the midpoint of this range from high to low. Yeah, so it's possible that this is going to stay heavy. The other indices are a little bit stronger, so it could be that this one's just lagging behind. But as of right now, just looking at this chart, it doesn't look too bullish yet. Now, what would get me to change my mind on that in terms of a longer term idea? Well, we came up, we took the high here and here, bounced, swept this low on the daily, came back up, could not make a higher high, and then shot down, creating this imbalance here. So now we have an imbalance on the daily through the monthly level here from the previous month's open. And that, to me, on the daily chart makes it seem like the market is more likely to see these downside targets and new lows. And to change my mind, certainly if we break solidly above this, for now, that would be the thing that would change it. If we go consolidate a bit, create more highs, and kind of create bullish structure. Obviously, this is several days, several weeks into the future. Don't need to think that far in advance. For now, we're bearish based on this right here and the overall framework of the market. On the 4-hour, can't really think bullish until we move solidly above this high. Until then, we just have to respect the current structure as being bearish, and we just know that this is a big level here that the market may reach for or come close to. This was previous week's low. So I'll have that on the chart. And then jumping down to the hourly. This was Friday, kind of took everyone out on both sides. And we do have these equal highs here and the imbalance above. So I think we just got to see what Monday shows us. If it breaks above and then just kind of shows a unwillingness to go higher, comes down, we could see possible short after taking this high here. That said, every time the market tries to go lower, we see a bounce, goes lower, we see a bounce, tried to go lower here, and failed to go lower, instead created this imbalance. So just on a short-term basis for now, on the 1-hour, this is a failed structural play to the downside. What I mean by that is we've been making lower lows, and this time we made this high, we could not make a lower low, and we created an imbalance back up. So to start the week, I'm thinking for sure that we are more likely than not to head up here. And we could come back down to this level and shoot up, but I think to start the week, I am leaning short-term bullish just up onto these kind of key levels. Perhaps this monthly open could be a level that gets respected. We're also right beneath this 11,000 big figure. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the market shoot up, take the liquidity above 11,000 big figure, and then maybe sell off over for the elections. Something to keep in mind that this is just looking a little bit stronger in terms this is the S&P. Looks a little stronger in terms of getting above this high here, and but it still took this high and not that high, and created this imbalance. So just to compare the two, Friday came up into the imbalance, whereas the NASDAQ did not come up into the imbalance on its chart. So the NASDAQ is a little bit weaker. So it's just worth keeping an eye on the S&P as well to see if maybe the S&P comes up and fills this imbalance before selling off, whereas the NASDAQ might just poke into it and sell off. So just something to keep an eye on to start the week. There is a little bit of confusion for me just because of the dollar. If I look at the higher time frame on the weekly, let's just quickly first start the monthly. Okay, so the monthly has just seen a number of consecutive candles, 9 months of higher highs until October, where it's consolidated as an inside bar. It's just come down and retested the high of August, this monthly level, and kind of bounced back up into the middle of the range from the high. And November is just also sort of in a waiting game. It's just also consolidating. So I expect a big move soon, which would make sense with the election coming up. If we pop down to the weekly, it's still just undeniably bullish here on the weekly. So we've come down into this demand, into this order block, pushed up, closed with the big wick here, swing high, came down, filled the imbalance, came up, did not make a higher high, came down, took this low, but did not close below it. So now we're just in this range from this high to this low. But this bullish structure is still intact. On the daily, we have this retracement from this high to this low and made a lower low compared to this and retraced back up and had a big sell-off. So it does look like the dollar is rejecting at the high again, which is why Monday is a very important day. If it just buys back up, if it comes up strong and creates a little gap, I'll watch that gap for Tuesday, Wednesday. But it's very possible that even though this is a big scary down candle, we could hold this as support. This just looks like it's going to get taken. It looks like this should not have closed below here. So, again, I'm just going to keep an eye out for this. But for the dollar, I think if I were to see a reclaim of this area here, this isn't a projection, but this is just something I'm going to be looking for if it happens, to help bolster the case for shorts on the indices. But if I see this that would certainly make me think dollar is going to go for a new high. Take out all of this. However, on the daily, we did say that NASDAQ looked like it was going to push up early in the week. And if that's the case, then I want to see, well, really each low here, I really just want to see it's the previous day's low. This is a previous day's low. So I will want to see if it comes down and how it reacts here. If it really aggressively moves below these key swing lows, then it looks like the dollar could be reversing in that scenario. But if it just kind of probes it, you know, I think it could go as deeply as here, honestly. You know, who knows, with the election, you could really get a big spike. So too early to tell, but just things I'm going to be keeping an eye on as we begin the week. But for now, just to conclude this, NASDAQ appears to be short-term bullish as long as this holds, up to clear out the highs here into this imbalance and monthly level. And then after that, we'll see how everything else is shaping up. But I will be on alert for shorts down into these lows. So that's it for now. We'll check back in throughout the week. That's it.